Hi all. The topic for our debate is the IT-enabled sharing economy based on consumer-to-consumer exchange of goods and services cannot replace the traditional business-to-consumer economy. Our stand is for the motion. I am Divya and my team members are Amay Bujade and Pranay Chandur. So let's look at this. An online survey conducted by Statista among 30,000 consumers had the following shocking results. 81% of the consumers have not heard of the term sharing economy. So let's begin by defining what sharing economy is. The sharing of economy is a socio-economic ecosystem built around the sharing of human and physical resources. It is inclusive of the shared creation, production, distribution, trade, and consumption of goods and services by different people and organizations. A sharing economy takes a variety of forms, often leveraging information technology to empower individuals, corporations, non-profits, and government with information that enables distribution, sharing, and reuse of excess capacity in goods and services. A common premise that is when information about goods is shared, the value of goods may increase for the business, for the individuals, and for the community as well. Now let's look at some examples of economic sharing. The image shows certain examples like Alibaba, Facebook, Airbnb, and Uber. And let's look at some concepts that come under the umbrella term of economic sharing. Let's begin by defining what collaborative consumption is. It is a phenomenon of class of economic arrangements in which participants share access to products or services rather than having individual ownership. Equity sharing is also known as shared ownership or housing equity partnership, allows a person to purchase a share in their home even if they cannot afford a mortgage on the whole of the current value. It is generally used in the affordable housing, providing a third way of land tenure between home ownership and renting. The circular economy is a generic term for an industrial economy that is, by design or intention, restorative and in which material flows are of two types: biological nutrients designed to re-enter the biosphere safely, and technical nutrients which are designed to circulate at high quality without entering the biosphere. Next, crowdsourcing, the process of obtaining needed services, ideas, or content by soliciting contributions from a large group of people and especially from an online community rather than traditional employees or suppliers. Open data, an idea that certain data should be freely available to everyone to use and republish as they wish without restrictions from copyright, patents, or other mechanisms of control. And the last, user-generated content, the content that we generate by posting our discussions on discussion forums, uploading images, videos, audio files, or having tweets, post chats, podcasts that is generated by users of an online system, often made available via social media like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter to everyone. Next, what is business to consumer economy, B2C? It is usually a phrase that becomes attached to electronic business activities that focus on retail transactions rather than activities conducted between two businesses. The latter, business to business, that is B2B. While most companies that sell directly to consumers can be referred to as business to consumer companies. This term is mainly used to refer to online retailers as well as other companies that sell products and services to consumer through the internet. Lastly, let's look at certain examples of both sharing as well as traditional economy. The traditional economy examples would be Walmart, Amazon, Whole Foods, etc., whereas sharing economy examples would be Craigslist, eBay, Airbnb, etc. Many people in the business believe that sharing economy has taught people to prioritize cheap and easy access over interpersonal communication, and the value of going the extra mile for those interactions has diminished. The presentation will be continued now by my friend Amay.
Thanks, Divya. I will continue with the problems in shared economy today and better understand the challenges to know why it will not penetrate B2C market. We can see that the shared economy business impact on traditional enterprises. One thing is certain, the status quo will no longer cut it for traditional businesses. If traditional businesses want to survive, they will have to leverage their strengths and learn to coexist. Future is not about only the fate of Uber and B&B. Sharing homes, clothes, transport, food, and music is coming up. So let's look at the problems with shared economy. Sharing sites like Eat With and meal sharing are promising food from other parts of the world at your home. But are these regulated? No. I remember crimes happening by Uber drivers since Uber didn't track history of shared vehicles and drivers. Second point is that the broader public interest in terms of tax liability and safety. The safe operation of ride sharing and delivery services matters for all pedestrians and road users. It is also in the interest of the broader public to make sure that the sharing economy is not a clever means for people or businesses to reduce their tax liability, thereby placing a higher burden on the general public. Now let's look at the challenges. Within the traditional formal economy, rules are in place to protect everyone involved in a transaction and ensure that they can trust they are not being taken advantage of or discriminated against. Rules on pricing, information disclosure, accessibility, and safety. The same cannot be said about consumer to consumer shared economy. Sharing economy platforms can grow incredibly quickly compared to traditional businesses because they require minimum infrastructure, and since you do not own anything, you cannot replace traditional businesses. Sharing economy enterprises are difficult to categorize. They are not simply entrants into the existing market. Are Uber and TaskRabbit a taxi company and a temporary employment agency, or a collection of independent contractors backed by a technology company? Is Airbnb a hotel chain, a travel agent, or something different? The difficulty in answering these questions make it challenging for governments to regulate. Licensing: someone who rents their apartment out twice a year or picks up passengers in their car 3 times a week is unlikely to comply with realms of legislative requirements and licensing. This was true in 1975 as it is in 2015. The distinction being in 1975, the scale of this activity was essentially irrelevant to the government. It is possible to get a sense of how different these patterns are today by looking at newly available data about how Uber drivers operate. Drivers are taking advantage of system by working part-time, coming and going from the service, and varying hours from week to week. The changes in work time has not been accounted for in labor regulations, and so this shared economy model will take time to develop. Now let's look at the developing economies and what are the challenges they face. The sharing economy in its current version is incompatible with developing countries. In the US, the trend of this disruptive economy that aims to counter the notion of underutilized assets has been since 2009 economic recession. But in developing countries, there is a reason these models are taking time to find roots. In fact, Uber and other ride sharing have been banned in certain cities. Airbnb home sharing for small duration rentals doesn't work as well because people are scared to go through the hassles of properly vetting people and hosting for small duration. Distinction between collaborative economy and shared economy has to be made to understand why shared economy is not going to completely replace the B2C market, while the collaborative economy is going to be much more helpful. Collaborative economy is an economic system of decentralized networks and marketplaces that unlock the value of underused assets by matching needs and haves in ways that bypass traditional middlemen. Example is TaskRabbit. While shared economy is an economic system based on sharing underused assets or services for free or for a fee directly from individuals. Examples are Airbnb, BlaBlaCar, Skillshare, Relay Rides, etc. The future has to be shaped by distinguishing these two and making wise decisions to regulate them separately.
Hi everybody, I'm Pranay Chandu and will continue the presentation covering benefits of B2C, limitations of C2C industry facing today, and conclude with my personal experience. We all are aware of the businesses to consumer companies like Dell, Apple, and etc. They are delivering out of the box innovations for a never satisfying world. Today, I would like to elevate some strong reasons why B2C industries cannot be replaced and what are the limitations C2C organizations have. Coming to the reasons why B2C cannot be replaced are the workflow automation. Businesses often have the capital to spend on automated systems like real-time inventory accounting systems, which adjust stock levels and site location availability instantaneously. Secured automation, registration verification, account entry, and transaction authorization features can be installed into their systems. Banking and accounting features can be customized for pre-approved third-party direct sales. Vendor consignment or internal transfer transactions can be made. Coming to the stability. With the traditional businesses to consumer companies, employees can have a stable income, however, it depends on the individual performance. Benefits. Here, in traditional processes, all the workers are entitled with benefits like health and life insurance, 401k plans, and etc., where we cannot expect the same from consumer to consumer system. When now we'll go with the limitations that business to consumer organizations don't have. The downside of the sharing economy has gotten much less attention. Most cities and states tax and regulate hotels, and the tourists who stay in the hotels are actually an important source of tax revenue. Since the governments have long recognized that a modest hotel tax is not likely to discourage most visitors nor provoke the ire of constituents. But many of the Airbnb's customers are now paying the taxes required under the law. Now, if we look about Airbnb, it can also raise issues of safety for its consumers and nuisance for host neighbors. Hotels are regularly inspected to ensure that they are not fire traps and that they cannot pose other risks for visitors. Airbnb hosts face no such inspectors, and their neighbors in condo, co-ops, or apartment buildings may think they have the right not to be living next door to a hotel, which is one reason that cities have zoning restrictions. Insofar as BNB is allowing people to evade taxes and regulations, the company is not a net plus to the economy and society. It is simply facilitating the bunch of rip-offs. Others in the economy will lose the bearing an additional tax burden or being forced to live next to an apartment unit which a never-ending paradise of noisy visitors. The same story may apply with Uber. Uber is currently in disputes with regulators over whether its cars meet the safety and the insurance requirements imposed on standard taxis. Many cities impose some restrictions on the number of cabs in the hopes of ensuring a minimum level of earning for drivers. But as Uber and related services like Lyft flooding the market, they are harming all the drivers' ability to earn even minimum wage. Now, I would like to share my personal experience today regarding shopping online. Ever since e-commerce evolved in India, I preferred shopping online. It's been more than 6 years, so I believe I can comment on this topic. Among the leading e-commerce portals for apparels like Flipkart, Amazon, eBay, Myntra, and Jabong, I would choose only Myntra.com because they succeeded meeting customer expectations and quality right from the day they started selling online. This was because of the sole reason that it is a business to consumer company and strive for the extraordinary consumer experience. And one cannot expect the same from any other consumer to consumer companies because they are not involved in customer interests and tailoring the needs accordingly. So apart from the advantages C2C have with the mentioned limitations of the C2C industry and the benefits B2C have, I can assure that business to consumer organizations have the potential, can sustain globally, and cannot be replaced. Thank you.